of the other things that I get asked quite frequently are about the color correspondences with crystals and chakras. And there's often confusion about this. For instance, if you have a red jasper stone, you are not limited to using it only at the root chakra. Just because the root chakra is the chakra that vibrates at red does not mean that you're limited to using red crystals here, nor does it mean that red crystals are limited to being used here. For instance, red jasper can also be used at the heart chakra to promote circulation, even circulation throughout the body. So that may be something you'd want to use over the heart, the physical heart. Now that's an instance of using a red stone at what's considered to be the green energy frequency of the heart chakra. Similarly, you may find that there are other stones that work very well at the root chakra that are not necessarily red. For instance, some people find that placing a violet colored stone over any of the lower chakras can help with grounding you spiritually. So, we talk about grounding a lot. Grounding is very important physically, for us to feel physically grounded in our body, but also to spiritually ground ourselves is very important, especially after things like intense dream work or astral travel, or even after a particularly intense healing session. We may find it necessary to bring that sort of divine part of ourselves back down into the physical. This can be very, very important. So again, using these violet colored stones at the lower chakras can be very beneficial for that when there's not necessarily a color correspondence. Now, other healers believe that, and Naisha Asian in particular recently said this in a workshop I was in with her, and I found it very interesting because it does make sense to me in a way. What Naisha said was that when a crystal appears to be blue, what that means is that all other colors in the 7-color spectrum are being absorbed by that stone, and blue is the color that's being reflected, so it's actually not absorbed by the stone. So what she says is that by placing a blue stone over our throat chakra, we're actually not getting that blue energy there, because that energy has been sort of rejected almost in a way by the crystal. So she really recommends using any color but blue for the throat chakra, which I found very interesting. But what my opinion is on that, and this is my understanding of how light energy moves through stones, is that all of those colors are being absorbed by that blue stone, but with that blue energy being reflected, it's almost as if that blue energy is being allowed to pass through or bounce off of the crystal, so that that blue energy is what is being reflected into our throat chakra. And that's sort of my viewpoint on it, and that's why you would want to use something like a blue stone at that area, is because that energy is actually being reflected off of that stone.